Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the unofficial sumo podcast for official sumo fans. This is Jake.
This is Flerick.
This is Ryan.
And this is man.
I see we're
I don't have anything in this room.
we all turned on our cameras right before hitting recording, so Ryan was not aware that it was Halloween, or he's just freaking out.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. It's shameful, really.
Mm.
Anyways, well, Ryan regathers himself.
Ryan. It's Bagers Night even. The Des Moines
That doesn't
Halloween
exist in
Day.
Des Moines anymore.
They
We
got rid of
it.
that, unfortunately.
We got rid of it.
Yeah.
I want to do something. I don't have anything.
I know. It's the
I don't know.
best.
You just have to. The show must go on, Ryan. The
This
show
is
must go
probably
on.
not super entertaining for those that aren't watching on YouTube, but if you're
Probably
just
not.
listening to it, everyone is in Halloween costume except for Ryan. Unless
I will throw Jake a little under the bus. He's wearing a hat. He's
This is a
wearing a
parrot.
slightly fancy hat. Oh,
And
that
there's
is
a parrot. You
Okay.
do not see the parrot?
I, honestly, no. I have
have a
not
And a sword.
comprehended the parrot yet.
I have a sword, but it'll be like really dumb to like hold it here for the whole show, so I'm just gonna put it on my desk. But trust me, it's still here.
Cool.
Bravo.
Cool.
Mood.
Love that for you guys. All right.
Yeah.
So our special Halloween. Oh wait, no, Ryan, you're wearing your dipshit costume. Thanks for breaking that out for us.
Oh!
Really, it really contributes to the Halloween spirit. Man, that would have been funnier if I thought of it at the beginning.
Doing
So,
what I
Moments
can
back,
to
though.
contribute.
those of you who clicked on this on purpose know that this is our October news update. I'm going to drive here because I wrote the outline this time around.
And I'm not in a state to
Mhm.
do that
And
at
Ryan's-
this moment.
Ryan's confidence has been demolished. So we are recording this on Beggar's Night, aka Des Moines' Wrong Halloween, the night before the 31st.
And I just believed Jake.
Oh, yeah.
Because Flarrick's partner like sent a message to the
We
group
don't need your excuses, Ryan.
talking about like giving me 15 minutes to like prepare like a costume, and I was like, Jake, what the hell is Janessa talking about? He's like, I got no idea. I'm
I
like,
have
all
no
right,
idea.
whatever.
To be
Maybe
fair, I didn't
Flarrick
know
is
what she was
scheming
talking about.
something, but
So Flarrick is dressed up like I can't remember.
Very,
An
Oh, the gloves were
amazing
great.
goth.
Very
very
goth.
goth emo, which
Yeah.
is which was the theme of the weekend for my Halloween celebration.
and to your
Gotcha.
partner's
Nice.
point, she did turn you into a hottie.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
it works.
did.
The choker's
Not that
really
you
doing
need
it.
a whole
does
lot of
work.
help, you attractive
Yeah.
son
Well,
of a bitch.
with this palette, it's just like
It's your natural
not
color,
that hard.
Flerick. It looks great on you.
We got Mac as Waluigi, complete with thick oil paint mustache. Well done. It goes almost all the way to your ears. Very,
Yes.
very character accurate.
Yes.
And I am a pirate because this is the things that I was able to dig out of my Halloween bin after we decided to do this idea.
They even have a good costume. I've got a pretty
Oh, God,
decent,
just
like
Right outside
James
the
from
room.
See, this,
Team
this is what
Rocket
I'm going to wear for
costume.
trick or treating tomorrow. And be like, hey guys, you want some candy? Here, come here.
I don't have the wig, but I got everything. I got a good James Team Rocket costume. My wife
Yeah.
is Jessie. My daughter is Meowth. It's really cute.
It is
I
really
bet-
cute. We saw
I
pictures.
I bet it is. So, as I mentioned before, Ryan so rudely interrupted to stew about how upset he is. We are recording this on the 30th. This is as up to date as we could get, but I know there are a couple things that we'll get to that I think may still be in the works. We'll figure it out. Whatever. But real quick update on upcoming GSB stuff. First off, hi Leo from Australia. Your mom
Hey,
emailed
Leo.
us
Hey, bud.
to let us know that you listen to our show and you like sumo. So yeah, hello and
Oh,
thanks
do
for
we
listening.
need to edit my
Your what?
curse to open the episode?
We'll see. I might try and cut that out.
I mean, leave it. He's
Now that
heard
we
worse
are-
from us, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Now that
Yeah,
we,
we
uh,
have to be somewhat of a role model now, apparently.
No, we don't. He was
lost
already
our
listening.
plausible
We don't need
deniability.
to.
Somewhat, not a complete role model.
Now that we can no longer pretend that no kids listen to our show, we got to clean up
Yeah.
our act, Ryan. So coming
Yeah,
out,
we fucking should.
come out, coming out before the end of the year. We will also have our popularity poll results at some point, hopefully real soon here. But We will have our year-end award show.
What do you mean?
in
Hopefully,
December.
like we're not recording it immediately after this, and you guys got to dress like that for 2 consecutive.
We're all going to
episodes.
take off our costumes, and then by the
That's
time
going
we
to take
turn
too long. That's
by
going to
the
take
time
too
we turn
long.
our
Matt's
cameras
gotta go
back
to bed.
on, Ryan will have his costume on, and then he will look out of place. I'm just saying, based on editing, these probably won't come out right at the same time. But anyways, we will also have our year-end award show coming out in December sometime. And Jake's availability is going to be spotty because we are kind of in the any minute now stage of waiting for a baby. So we'll see how this goes. But that's all coming up in addition to our regular Kyushu Basho coverage starting next week. First, our preview will probably be out on like the 4th or 5th or so. So, into our news episode outline, we start off as usual with promotions. We're recording this.
Liar, Fleric.
What are you grumbling about?
Yeah, what?
Probably the costume thing still. Just let him be. We are recording this after the Bansuke has already come out, so this is kind of cheating and not necessarily as relevant, but just a couple quick notes. Our only newcomer to the very top division, Oshomi, is making his debut in the Makuuchi division. He is 24 years old, about 6 years or so in sumo. He has had a very steady but not super fast rise through the ranks. So yeah, he's out of Naruto Beya. You can expect kind of a meat and potatoes style of sumo from him. Pretty much all Yorikiri, Oshidashi, etc. But he will be one new face that we see in the upper division in Kyushu. We also have Chiyoshoma and Nishiki Fuji making their return to the top division.
As I've been preparing for the popularity poll episode, I can say that last year in Juryo, Oshoumi got precisely 0 votes for favorite Juryo Rikishi.
Yeah, I think what little I know about him is he is not he's not going to blow the doors off the division. He's not the most exciting wrestler that's ever wrestled, but I don't know. It's cool to see new faces. We
He
have
got 9 votes this year. For
9
favorite
votes.
Juryo
Oh,
Rikishi.
wow.
That's infinity
9 more than I
times more
thought.
than last year. Yeah,
Hey, Jake and I made the same joke.
I got there same time, maybe a little
Wasn't
bit ahead of you.
So mad at him.
So we have 2 newcomers to the second division. Our 2 new Juryo Rikishi are Himu Kamaro, who up until this Basho was named Nagamura, so that is a new name on the Bansuke. He is 21 years old, about 3 years in sumo. He is small-ish, but very pushing focused in his winning techniques. And we also have, this is like the worst series of syllables for my Japanese pronunciation.
Fuji
We have-
Ryoga.
Thank you. We have Fuji Ryoga out
Well
of
done.
Fujishima Beya. He was named Goshima until this Basho. He's 22 years old. He was a Makushita Tsukidashi in March of 2025 and had a very promising amateur career. So he's definitely somebody, probably more than the other guy, that we would expect to see in the top division sooner rather than later, but we'll see how it goes. I probably should have put this in the prior bullet point. We do have one new name that may be new to some people in the top division. Kusano changed his Shikona. He is now Fujinokawa.
Nope.
Nope. I'm looking at the wrong one, aren't I?
Wait a minute.
Yoshi no Fuji.
Yoshino
Yeah,
Fuji.
Yoshi.
Okay. I was at least
He's Yoshi
close.
guy.
I was at least close. I totally forgot that, yes, we already knew Fujinokawa.
You let one person create the news episode one time, and they just completely messing up the whole thing.
I don't know, man. At least I'm in costume. Next up, returning to Juryo, we have Kitano Waka, who has made it all the way up to the top division at least once. So he will be back up there looking for another try. And let's see, demoted to Makushita, we have Kyoku Kaiyo. Kyoku Kaiyu. I suck so bad at the Y syllables, the ones with the consonant and then the Y. Also, Miyano Kaze got
I'll help
demoted
you
to
out
Makushita.
with the next one, Jake. I believe the other one who actually retired, I think it's Endo.
That
I
is
think
a
that's how
tough
you
one for
pronounce
me.
that
You know how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't mention him because he's coming up in a different segment of the episode, Ryan.
But that didn't work with the joke I was going for.
Maybe if you wrote the outline, you would have a better case to correct me, but I don't know.
I'm gonna do
who am I to
something.
judge?
I don't know.
The host of the
yet.
episode, I guess.
I know this was your plan, Jake, and I will
Yeah.
find my revenge. I won't get these two guys to help me because they're never going to join me to go against you.
No.
None of
We
the
would-
other two
100%.
would help me to
I
go
was like,
against the
whoa,
other
whoa,
one.
whoa, hold
Okay,
on
no.
there.
They were
We will-
tripping over themselves to mess with you, though.
No. We will happily turncoat to mess with Jake at the same
Oh,
time.
yes.
Let's not. Let's not.
This is not an exclusive deal here.
All right, I'm going
Oh, yeah.
radio silent for the rest of this episode. See if I can figure something out for the popularity poll.
Also, for those of you guys with mustaches, like I keep noticing, like when I laugh, like the whole thing goes up, like my whole face just brightens. Does this
You can
happen
see it,
all
right?
the time?
Yeah. That was one of the weird things for me when I first grew a mustache. Is it's like
I've never
it's literally
tried to
in
grow
my
a
eye line.
mustache.
It's like how your brain ignores that it can see your nose at all times.
It's weird.
Eventually, it does that to your. Okay, yeah. Try again, Ryan. See if you can do it. Can you see your nose? We all saw that.
Oh,
There it is.
I saw it.
Man, this
Oh my
podcast
goodness.
is way more fun when I'm hosting, isn't it? Next up, we have our retirements. We have two top.
It turned his mic camera off.
Bye, Ryan.
Oh,
It was good.
Oh
guy.
no!
he'll be back when he sees how much fun we're
Have our
having.
shenanigans gone too far?
No.
All right, next up we have retirements. We have two major retirements here that everybody is familiar with. These wrestlers from the last decade and a half of sumo. Welcome
he's
back,
back.
Ryan. I knew you couldn't stay away. First up, we have Takara Fuji. Takara Fuji has been in sumo since 2009 and never missed a single bout until his retirement. That is the
Sad
sixth.
day.
Yeah, that's 1,398 matches, sixth best all-time streak. His just a brief overview of his career here. Just we're not going to go into everything here, but I just wanted to make sure that we covered these Takara Fuji and then Endo right after him, because these guys had pretty legendary careers as far as Makuuchi guys go, that they did just about everything that you can do without making it all the way to the top of the division, pretty much. So Takara Fuji, he topped out at Sekiwake. He only made it there once in 2016, but he was in Makuuchi for 15 years. He retired before losing Sekitori status, so he was about to get demoted out of Juryo, just like Endo. These two were both in pretty much the same situation. But yeah, Takara Fuji would have been below Juryo for the first time since July of 2010. So yeah, hell of a streak for that guy.
Wow.
Never missed a match. Definitely gonna miss him. He's the guy with no neck and all butt. He very recognizable.
Chiseled from granite, just
From the waist down, absolute Adonis. Yes, and then from the waist up, a sumo wrestler for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a very technical grappler. He was kind of foot slow, but always very steady, very strong, good defense, fun guy to watch. But he is
Very
staying on
solid
as an
base.
elder.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
So
Very
solid.
solid base, if you would.
Carved of marble base with that guy. But yeah, he's staying on as an elder. He has the Kiriyama elder stock. This was vacant, and he has officially taken it over. As of now, he's presumably going to stay on as a coach within the Isegahama Beya, where he was, where he trained as a wrestler. One other fun fact that I didn't know about Takara Fuji is he's always been noted in Japan for his resemblance to Matsuko Deluxe, who is a very famous drag performer and TV personality. Sorry if that's a mischaracterization. I'm not familiar with Matsuko, but from reading up on this personality, it sounds similar to like a drag performance type of situation. Yeah, just saying, I don't get it. So sorry if I'm mischaracterizing, but I looked up what Matsuko looks like, and Takara Fuji, they're almost identical.
Seriously?
Yeah, Fleric looks like he's seen some pictures here. They are twins. And Takara Fuji has had the Matsuko Fuji name in his past here. Thought that was pretty fun. But yeah, he's got 3 children under 10, so he's only retiring from sumo. He's certainly not taking it easy. Next up, we have Endo. Endo, let's see, he started sumo in March of 2013. He certainly missed plenty of bouts. He had a lot more injuries in his career than Takara Fuji did, for sure. But Endo, he started in Makushita at Makushita 10. He had a Tsukidashi designation. He was able to start near the top of Makushita due to his extremely promising amateur career, which included 2 national titles. So in March of 2013, he made his debut. In September of 2013, he was already in the top division and basically stayed there for the last 12 years. He only dipped down to Juryo 3 times, including this time where he dropped all the way down. He would have been in Makushita had he not retired. I think technically he's still on the Bansuke in Makushita for this tournament. But yes, he is not competing in the November tournament. His career includes 7 Kinboshi, including feasting on Kakuryu, who he beat 4 times.
Wow.
Endo also was the guy who retired Kakuryu with his the famous Charlie Brown missed foot sweep from Kakuryu, where he went down to the ground. That was against Endo. Endo also had 4 technique prizes, 2 Jun Yushos, and Fighting Spirit prize and an Outstanding Performance prize. And yet somehow he never made it to Sekiwake. He topped out at Komusubi, but he made it there 5 times. Family life, he is married, but he is extremely private about it. This was kind of fun. The Wikipedia page phrased it along the lines of like, he married a normal person, as in like not a celebrity. And apparently that designation is like, yes, a commoner, a regular
Okay.
non-celebrity. So
How dare
basically that just, he's very private about his private life. No shame there. That's just I completely get that. But as a wrestler, he was also a very technical guy. He was always also amazing on defense, and in particular to me, I always remember him for his balance. When people would try to throw him, he could be like all the way horizontal, tipped over on one tippy toe, and he would still somehow come back every time. It was very impressive. But yeah, he's a very technical guy, but just didn't hit that top level beyond the Komusubi rank. He is also staying on in the Sumo Association. He has the Kitajin Kabu. He owned it for a long time, but he was actually lending it to a different guy who was coaching, who retired like a day or 2 before Endo retired. So like it was very obvious that, the guy who is borrowing Endo's stock just retired and Endo is injured. It's very obvious that Endo is going to retire. And then boom, that all happened. So within the span of a day or 2, the former Maegashira Tenkaiho retired at 41, gave the Kitajin Kabu back to Endo, who then retired and is now known as Kitajin Oyakata.
Yeah. One other thing that I remember about Endo, if you take a look into our Discord channel, I believe this was after a victory over Hakuho, and he just got the tongue out, very much relishing in his victory over Hakuho.
I'm
sure
about
driving
that one.
the ladies and some fellas in the general area wild.
Yes, he was always known as the handsome one. And I mean, I'm not going to argue. But
Nope.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the reputations that followed him. So similar to retirements, we also had some haircutting ceremonies. Let's start off with Myogiryu, who retired almost a full year ago. He topped out at Sekiwake as well. He had a very long career with 6 technique prizes. I didn't know that, but that was
Wow.
Yeah, right. 6 Kinboshi, a Jun Yusho. But yes, he's now retired. He is now known as Furiwake Oyakata, and had his haircutting ceremony on the 5th of October. I got a fun quote for him. He said, "Many memories ran through my head. I will do my best with a new mindset. Retiring from sumo, not retiring from sumo wrestler interview quotes." And then the more well-known one, we also had Taka Keisho's haircutting ceremony, or what's left of the wasting away
The wrestler formerly known as Taka Keisho.
Yes, the 12-year-old formerly known as 400-pound Ozeki Taka Keisho. God, he is skinny now.
The rad 2D that was controlling him the entire time. From that top knot.
Under the top notch.
Yeah, the tiny teenage boy that was hiding in that bowling ball's haircut. Yeah, no, if you haven't kept up with Taka Keisho over the last year or so, look up some pictures. He doesn't look like he used to.
No.
And I mean, by all means, good for him, because yeah, he was pretty much spherical, and I can't imagine that would be good for him long term. So yeah, good on him for losing a ton of weight. But I mean, I hope it was healthy to lose it all, like all of it at once.
Yeah. Who knows? I think he has some muscle to spare to lose though. So I
Oh,
think he'll be
I'm
okay.
sure.
Oh yeah.
But he certainly just melted off the padding on the outside of that muscle. That's for sure.
Mhm.
So a couple quotes from him that I thought were kind of nice. He said, "It was a wonderful haircutting ceremony as everyone helped create a final flower path for me. I am filled with gratitude." He also said, "I feel like this is the start of raising good wrestlers. I want to learn and absorb from my seniors and younger wrestlers." So he is staying on as Minatogawa Oyakata, and he is going to be training at the Tokiwayama Baya where he was a wrestler. There was also a very sweet moment. He and Daisho are very close, and Daisho also helped Takakeisha's 4-year-old son come up and take a snip of the hair as well. The kid was just struggling to hop up on the dohyo, use the scissors and whatnot. Like, so Daisho was there to be the assistant for him. Thought that's pretty cute.
I'm wondering if Minatogawa, the former Takakeisho, doesn't become Tokiwayama before the next Basho, because it looks like current Tokiwayama turns 65 on January 3rd.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's the succession plan. I would assume
Makes
Takakeisho
sense.
is the only other Oyakata in the Tokiwayama Baya, so my guess would be he would be the head coach after current Tokiwayama retires.
Sure.
After the Kyushu Basho.
I think now's as good a time as any. Why don't we skip ahead a couple segments and just talk about Kabu in general, because I have a few more
Yeah.
updates on them. Fleric, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know that this is a topic that you've done a bit more research than we have on it. So
you're killing it.
man, even just basic encouragement from that Fleric is just so sexy and overpowering.
I feel
cannot get-
invigorated.
I cannot get away how this eyeliner is making me just look way too serious.
It's the choker too. The choker is just doing it for me, man.
Serious isn't the word I was looking for. I was gonna say just dominating,
Yeah.
powerful.
Keep
So we have some Kabu that we're gonna talk about.
Ryan's uncomfortable.
Ryan's like, oh man, I wish I had time to get eyeliner on. These guys interrupted me, got the podcast started before I could put on my eyeliner.
Every night. Ritual.
So it is
put it on before
8:30.
bed.
It is 8:30. It is
8:30.
eyeliner time.
Mhm.
The kid's asleep. Let's put on the eyeliner.
Oh, buddy. So
Anyways, Kabu.
Kabu.
Why does Kasugano have 7 coaches in it? Sorry, I'm just looking at the Kabu page.
Let me
Sumo
do
TV.
like the
Hold
30-second
on.
version on what these are before we dive in too deep. So there are a limited number of Kabu. There's like 100 and some Kabu, and these are stocks. These are basically names, which a name that you have as a coach is basically your title. Like, you know how you have a Shikona as a wrestler. That's not your real name necessarily. It can be, but it usually isn't. When you retire and become a coach, you have to buy a name from somewhere else, some other person that has it, or you have to inherit it from your dad or your father-in-law or something like that to continue. They give you a title, and when you retire, you need a title if you want to stay on as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So the head of each stable, their name is the same as the name of the stable. So, for example, Isegahama is the name of the stable where all of the Fuji wrestlers train, but the guy who goes by the name Isegahama is also the guy we used to know as Teru no Fuji. He inherited that name. He became known as Isegahama. He owns the 1 out of 100 and some titles within the Sumo Association. So anybody that wants to stay on as a coach, whether they're leading a stable or they're an assistant at a different stable, like Sato Gatake, for example, has 5 extra people there, 5 extra Kabu, not extra, but like assistant coaches who also have a title that work at that stable as assistant coaches. So the 2 guys that retired, I mentioned that Endo is now known as Kitajin, and Takara Fuji is now known as, I lost it, where is it? It's in here somewhere, Kiriyama. So these guys both have inherited or Endo actually already owned one and was just letting somebody else use that name. But these guys are staying on as coaches. But when you reach the age of 65, you have to retire from being a coach. And that's when you pass your title on to somebody else who is retiring from actively being a wrestler, or sometimes people just shuffle names, whatever. That's where this section gets in. So we had two other major changes in titles since the last time that we did one of our news updates. And that is, for both cases, it's because somebody turned 65 and therefore had to retire. So our first one, we have the guy who, when he was wrestling, he went by Tama Asuka. He made it up to Maegashira. He is about 40. He was known as Kumagatani, but now he is known as Otake. He is taking over the Otake Beya as of the end of the September tournament. He and the former Otake, who was a former Juryo wrestler named Dairyu, sorry, I'm just hurling names, just lightning fast. Basically, what happened is one coach retired, the assistant coach took over, they swapped names. So the former Otake is now Kumagatane, and he is going to stay on until he's going to use the extra system that has been implemented very recently, where when you hit 65, as long as you're not a head coach, if you're an assistant coach, you can stay on for up to 5 years if you meet some other requirements. Consultant. Yeah, I think the term that I kept seeing was sanyo. And yeah, so the former Otake, who is now an assistant coach, is going to stay on for up to 5 more years to assist the new Otake, Oyakata. And this is Oho's Heya. So just for context, that's their only upper division wrestler. But yeah, they had a switch there, and I thought that was kind of an interesting microcosm of how complicated and kind of arcane this is from the outside of how this system works. But kind of cool there. That's how the succession works. One other thing that was kind of cool here is these two guys visited Taiho's grave to inform him. Like just ceremonially, the guy that I don't know if that's where the Kabu originated, but basically, yeah, that's a former. I'm bringing up the history of that name. I wonder, was he a former? I wonder if he was a former Ichiman head or something for this group. But regardless, they went to his grave to as part of their rituals of how we formally pass this responsibility on.
So, as we discussed this entirely on the last news episode, the Otake Beya was originally founded by Taiho.
There it is. Thank you.
1971. It started as Taiho Beya, and then when he retired in 2004, it became Otake Beya.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was tough for me. I appreciate you brought that up because yeah, the Sumo DB has who owns each Kabu, who's using each Kabu, if that's different from the owner, what their name was when they were a wrestler, and this super complicated web of things. And it also has the history of who has been known as Otake over the years. And yeah, it is dense with information.
So this is a long past name then.
Yep. But second one here. This one, I'll obviously keep this shorter because we don't have to go through the whole thing. The wrestler who went by Fujinoshin as a wrestler, shout out to Jake Book out of Ohio, who uses this as his own informal Shikona, Fujinoshin.
Nice.
He was going by Jinmaku Oyakata, and he just hit 65 and he retired. So this one is kind of interesting. I couldn't find who that title is going to. It could be the case that it's still in the works. Could be the case that it's already been handled and I just wasn't able to find it because it wasn't a major story. But this one's kind of fun because we can speculate if we want to. Again, the answer might already be out there, but here's what I was able to dig up a little bit. He is Jinmaku Oyakata, was an assistant at Hakaku Beya. Hakaku being the head of the Sumo Association. Jinmaku was one of the assistants there. Hakaku Beya is part of the Takasago Ichiman. There are 6 Ichimans, and each one has a handful of different stables that are kind of grouped together. Not like as a team, but kind of like as like a regional group, maybe. Maybe we could think of them that way, but just like stables that are a little bit tied to each other. Like if they were to go train with another stable, they would probably go train with somebody else from their Ichiman, their like group of teams. So the thing about Takasago Ichiman though is it's itty bitty. There is only a couple different heias that are part of this Ichiman, and very few people that are actually qualified to hold a Kabu within those stables. So a quick, rough way to think of who is eligible to hold a Kabu or elder title. If you make it to the Sanyaku, great, good for you. You're eligible. If you can find one, if you can buy one, if you can inherit one, you're eligible. You're good to go. If you only make it up to the rank of Maegashira, you have to be there for at least 20 tournaments in order to be eligible. If you only make it up to Juryo, you have to make it at least 30 tournaments as a Juryo wrestler in order to be eligible. What that means is in Takasago Ichiman, there are four total wrestlers that could inherit this. So either Jinmaku is going to hand it to one of these four guys who might retire soon, or he's going to give it to somebody who is less related to his own stable, which is totally possible.
Yeah.
But it's just more likely. Usually these stay amongst the wrestlers who have wrestled together or what have you. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, no. Go ahead. You've got it covered coming up.
I was just going to say those four wrestlers within Takasago Ichiman, that includes the stables of Kokonoe and Takasago. Of all the wrestlers at all of these heias, Chiyoshima, Chiyomaru, Chiyono, and Asanoyama. That's it. Those are the only guys within the Ichiman that have met those criteria in order to hold a Kabu. To even like hold it, even if they were to be like Endo and own a Kabu, even if you're not retired yet, it's just those four. So I think of those, if this hasn't been made official and if it is all speculation, Asanoyama seems like the most likely one just because he hit Ozeki. He could maybe like pay for inheriting it and then lend it to somebody else and let that somebody else be an assistant coach for a while. I don't know.
Who knows?
Or any of those four guys could theoretically be at roughly retirement age, you know?
Chiyoshima. It's the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, Chiyoshima,
I've
I
seen
would
a
not
lot
be...
of speculation for Chiyomaru.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
was
probably the
that
closest to retirement.
Yeah. I mean, he's in his mid-30s. He doesn't seem capable of making it back up even to Juryo. Very well could be his time, and if it is, this is his best chance to become a coach, because that Ichiman being small, not only does that mean there aren't a ton of wrestlers that could inherit this, it also means that there aren't a ton of titles that are going to come up anytime soon. So like if Chiyomaru, for example, was waiting for a stock to open up so that he could become a coach, here's a good shot. So I imagine anybody who is interested in becoming a coach later also has a calendar counting down the years until this guy or that guy turns 65. So very well could be something that behind the scenes is very well established of who's doing what. But from the outside, this was just kind of a fun one to speculate on. Anybody else got anything on Kabu, or Ryan, did you come across anything while you were looking around?
No, not particularly. I think, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's all I had for Kabu. We have a thankfully brief scandal section. This is one where we have to apologize to the fans, because I know in the past we've promised that GSB would be the number one source for Tokoyama news, and
Absolutely.
this is some of the biggest Tokoyama news in a while. The Tokoyama, that's the full-time hairdresser. Like, that's their whole job, is they just fix sumo people hair. And one of them had to retire due to something money-ish. And that's kind of all we know.
What have the tabloids been saying? We need to know.
I think it's too boring of a story for people to speculate too much about. There was some sort of financial impropriety, and so backing up, Nishinoseki Beya had their own Tokoyama, and this guy had to retire due to a financial impropriety of some sort. Nishinoseki, that is the wrestler formerly known as Kisuno Sato, that is his stable. And my favorite phrase that I found in the articles here was that the details are being kept private to protect the victim. That only makes the speculation worse. There was financial impropriety with a victim? What happened?
What does that mean?
What happened? It's probably out there, but like, we got too many irons in the fire for this to be my whole day here. I whatever. If anybody knows, I'd love to hear about it. But like, yeah, I really didn't find a whole lot on this one. I don't know. It's a hairdresser. Like, I don't know if the Oakland Athletics had their like bat boy retire due to financial impropriety, would anybody like dig that hard? It might just be a situation where it's just not a big enough deal for people to report on too much. Or it could just be that I didn't happen across any article that had any useful details. Whatever.
I did see something that the Nishonoseki Bay is going to have mandatory training around proper conduct after that scandal.
Conduct about what? What kind of conduct?
Just be better.
Give me something. Give me something to work with here.
Don't put bottles up each other's asses. Don't.
Well, that was a separate
drink.
That was unrelated.
I don't think that was a financial issue.
Financial stuff.
I mean, it depends on the type of bottle, I suppose.
Are they getting training on like not bouncing checks? Do people bounce checks? I don't know. I don't know anybody my age or younger that knows what checks are. So I don't know what.
Huh?
Or in Mac's case, older than me, who doesn't know what checks are.
Hey, wait a minute.
It's okay, Mac. Another 10 years and I'll be your age and I'll know what it's like. So
you listen to me, Sonny. You'll learn one day.
Anyways,
okay.
Next bullet point here. We have a couple.
Hold on. Okay. I just have a little blur. Hey, we're the Tokoyama.
Right. A check is something. Oh, okay.
It is true.
Mac, I'm
has no
old
response.
enough to know what a check is, but I'm also young enough to know not to use them anymore, Mac.
That's wise.
Yeah. So the Kyokai announced on the 30th, I believe that was September 30th.
Today.
Fuck all the way off. That a Tokoyama belonging to Nishonoseki Beya had been involved in financial trouble and had retired on the 29th. The compliance committee will conduct an investigation and will refrain from making any announcement in order to protect the victim's privacy. The Tokoyama, the perpetrator, retired due to the trouble. His master, Nishonoseki Oyakata, former Kisei no Sato, was severely reprimanded by Chairman Hakaku for inadequate supervision. The Kyokai stated, the Kyokai intends to continue to pay close attention to the lifestyle guidance of Rikshi and other Kyokai members at Nishonoseki Beya, including past drinking issues within the Heya. Second reprimand. So that's a second reprimand for Nishonoseki in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Tough times over there.
Ouch.
All right, we got a couple more updates that didn't really fit into other of our normal categories. We have the 82nd All Japan Grand Sumo Tournament. This is kind of an informal, single elimination kind of Jungyo tour, just for fun kind of tournament. But it ended up with Hoshoryu beating Onosato in the finals.
Nice.
Yeah, Hoshoryu's second title at this tournament in 3 years. And he said, it reminded me of the real tournament, which I'm sure the people who run the All Japan Grand Sumo Tournament felt great about that quote. But yeah, Hoshoryu also said, I think we'll face each other many times. We're both fighting with great enthusiasm. I'll have to do my best. Of course you will. Yep, you got to just say that every interview.
I want to see it, though. That's just it. And now we're going to see it. That's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the Tokoyama.
Oh, God.
Tell me.
So it was Tokoni from Nishonoseki Beya, a hairdresser in the 5th class, which was the lowest, who submitted their resignation to the association. No other information is known, but that is the Tokoyama with the financial impropriety that will remain unknown forevermore.
I will promptly forget about it.
Hey, me too.
The what?
We
Next,
have to report on it. We are the Tokoyama hub.
Tokoyama or Grand Tokoyama breakdown.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Couple other bullet points we got here. This will also be the debut basho of Ochir Saikon, which is one of the weirder names I've ever seen on the Bansuke, because that is a Mongolian surname. This guy doesn't have a Shikona yet, so he's going by his last name, which is very common. but not very common for that to be a Mongolian surname. So that was kind of interesting. But this is a guy who is like in the news. He is literally reported as the strongest recruit ever. Like that quote is like shows up all over the place. It's nuts. So the reason that this guy is just making his debut now, despite training for 4 years in Pro Sumo, is that he was part of Isegahama, who already had a Mongolian wrestling. And due to the foreigner rule, you can only have one foreigner in active Pro Sumo. But
Interesting.
But this guy was training there without being a Pro Sumo wrestler. Like he didn't even enter the bottom division. He was just a guy who happened to be there. And apparently he's just a monster. He is apparently an incredibly physically strong, incredibly capable. But yeah, just simply benched because when you have a Yokozuna, you don't move him out of the way for a recruit.
And you know what? It's about time Isegahama got some like good, strong young blood in there.
Right.
They've really
a new
been
kaiju, if
struggling
you will.
recently. So
This,
it's nice for them.
Yeah, I know. Ever since Terunofuji retired, does Isegahama really even have any strong wrestlers anymore?
Doesn't feel like it. Yeah,
How old is this guy? Do you know?
23.
23. Yep.
Oh, he's young. All right.
They're kind
So-
of like a Onosato college kid coming in, kind of same age.
Yeah,
Except
I
from the
think
bottom.
it's. Yeah, he will start from the bottom, but it will probably be an Aonishiki situation where he just like teleports to the top after like literally eating people on his way up through the lower divisions. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. He will be in Maizumo this time around, which won't be like televised or whatever, but he will have several bouts. Guarantee there will be news articles because this guy's debut has been super anticipated. Speaking of Aonishiki, though, he is reportedly seeking Japanese citizenship. That is
Yeah,
something that
alright.
is required if you are going to stay on and be a coach later, which he already qualifies for, despite being like 21. So,
Good for him.
like we mentioned earlier, if you make it to the Sanyaku, you are qualified to hold a Kabu. You still have to like find one. You still have to buy one from somebody, but he's already met the basics to do that. He says, "I love sumo." Shocker. If possible, I would like to coach, and if I could become a stable master, I'd have to change my nationality. It's a future project, but if I could become a stable master, I'd like to do it. He also said, when I joined the sumo world, I was confident I would become a Sekitori, but I never expected to reach Sanyaku so quickly. Now that I'm a sumo wrestler, I want to aim for Yokozuna.
Ooh.
I like that. But very, very sumo wrestler, but also with like just a little bit of stink on it where, at wanting to become a Yokozuna, like just stating that, I like that. I want to see that confidence.
It's impressive that he is so decided, like he knows that he wants to stay in the sumo world, which is cool to see. Because
I don't know. I don't
feel
like it.
a lot of or Ryan hates it, but
Well,
no, I feel there's a lot of Rikishi who like I feel like they finally get citizenship towards their retirement, like in their late 20s and 30s. But he's just like, no, I know this is something I have to do. And it's a big decision because Japan doesn't allow dual citizenship, so you have to give up your previous passport citizenship to Ukraine to do that. So it's a big decision, but like he knows what he wants to do. So power to him.
No, the only reason I said I don't like it is just joke. Like, is he already looking too far ahead into his career? Is he going to distract him from the present?
This guy's already planning for retirement.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's only 21. Let's finish the bum rush to Yokozuna and then worry about what we're going to do after we retire.
Watch it. He gets the Yokozuna instant retirement. He just wants that cushy coaching life. Oyakata.
Well, it's like a couple year process to get the citizenship. So I mean, I just assume he's gonna be Yokozuna in like May. So
I think
At this rate, hey.
Well,
I think you get like a couple year grace though, so it could still work that way.
yeah.
you get
Well,
I
especially
actually
if he makes
learned this one.
Yokozuna, then he could be Aonishiki Oyakata for. Well, no, but he'd still have to have that citizenship before retirement. I would assume.
Come back,
before he
Ryan.
could-
Come back. You're too deep.
It's
But yeah, for what it's worth, yes, it will take a little bit of time. But if he, for example, if he wrestles as long as Tamawashi, he's got 19 years to figure it out. So
He'll be fine.
he'll be okay. For what it's worth, in the Kabu research that I did earlier today, preparing for this, if you are an Ozeki, you have a 3-year grace period to get a Kabu. If you're a Yokozuna, you have a 5-year grace period to get a Kabu. I'm pretty sure if you are below that, you kind of have to get it figured out pretty much right away.
You have 1 year.
You have 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Ooh.
you have to have it when you retire, or sucks, buddy.
No
It's,
Kabu for you.
It's a bunch of wrestlers in a room, and that number of wrestlers minus 1 chairs in the middle of the room with the name on it. And when the taiko drums stop, you got to dive for a chair.
And then the chair breaks as everybody.
They're sturdy chairs, Mac. Come on,
Oh,
we're not rookies here. We know what we're
overly
doing.
sized chairs. Okay.
Last little news bullet point. We also had a here we go. I put it in the wrong spot, so I found it again. Katsuji Ebisawa passed away. This is probably not a name that many of us have heard, but he was a big name in sumo. This guy was the NHK president for decades, and also, up until recently, the YDC chairman. This was like the guy. The YDC, that is the committee, the like non-wrestler committee made up of like media members, etc., who like make recommendations to the actual sumo government on who should be a yokozuna, or what kind of recommendations they have for like the upper rank promotions and whatnot. This is like about as prestigious as anybody could be within the sumo world without being a sumo wrestler. So yeah, this was a major name in shaping the last couple decades of sumo history. Hikaku in particular, he said that Ebisawa was a unique and irreplaceable person and my greatest benefactor. So yeah, this guy was, even if you've never heard of him, he was extremely important to the head boss. So like that should tell you how important this guy was to sumo. Katsuji Ebisawa, 91 years old, certainly had quite a run of it. You know, not nearly enough people make it that long, but yeah, that's a guy who left a big footprint in sumo. So that does it for all of our normal stuff. We also, I forgot to mention it at the beginning, so I'll make sure it's in the episode notes. You won't be surprised if you read those notes. But the other big news story that we haven't mentioned here, obviously, was the London tournament. That was a huge deal, and we decided that rather than the 4 of us fumble through it, we would talk to somebody who was there. So we're going to go now to me and Ryan talking with Thomas, who is a GSB listener and BBC worker who saw that sumo was coming to his hometown, and he's like, well, hell, I got to be involved. So we're going to hear from Thomas, and then we will be back to close it out in a little bit here. Welcome back. We are going to sit down with our friend, listener, Tomas Fabri out of London. Not in London right now. You're in Italy right now. Before recording, you mentioned you have to use the fake background because all the cool stuff on your walls is back home in London. We'll let that slide this time. But thank you so much for joining us. We brought Thomas on here to talk about the London exhibition tournament. First off, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you got into doing the reporting that you did on this tournament.
Thank you for having me. First of all, I'm Thomas. I'm based in London, and I'm a BBC journalist. And I'm also a massive sumo fan, like all you and listeners. But I'm not a sport reporter, and definitely not a sumo reporter. But when the sumo tournament in London was announced, I tried in every way to say, okay, at least for what the BBC is concerned, I need to get involved. And I managed to do it. And then very late, there was a news that the BBC was actually going to broadcast it live in the UK. So I really got involved into with the live page. So text commentary, not as good as Hero, but I was doing the text commentary. I did a sumo explainer, very basic stuff for the BBC. Which is great. Nothing particularly revolutionary for the listeners of this show, But it's a great opportunity because the BBC, obviously in the UK and in the world, has a massive reach. So being able to write about sumo is fantastic. So I'm just basically a sumo fan, happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
You were there to make sure that they got their sumo information right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you can always tell when you're reading as sumo fans, we always see when like sumo pops up in a publication that doesn't normally focus on sumo, right? And you can immediately tell, this is the baseball guy who they were like, "Hey, you write the article today," right? But I can't tell you how much I appreciate when somebody who actually knows their stuff can write about it. You know, you can use the proper vocabulary and give context to stuff like that. One thing right off the bat that I wanted us to talk about a little bit was there was some confusion or disagreement or what have you online all over the place about whether or not my favorite way to phrase this was this tournament fixed? And like I think a lot of the discussion around that kind of neglected to take into account that this is just a like a Jungyo tour, an exhibition tour. So Thomas, can you tell us a little bit more about how was this build in the UK? Because I think that there were some mixed messages on like how official or how big a deal this was, or whether the wrestlers would be trying to wrestle just as hard as in a regular Honbasho.
Yeah. Well, it was presented as a official sumo tournament, and this was in the press release and also by Hiro Morita at the beginning of every night. I think the sense of that is it's a co-en, so it's a tour that is not sponsored by sponsored someone else who invited the wrestlers in, but it's officially sanctioned by the Sumo Association. However, that doesn't mean that it's one of the 6 Honbasho that count for the Bansuke, which is, as you know, the most important thing there is in sumo.
Much to Hoshoryu's chagrin, his 5-0 record and Yusho win here will not be counted as his 3rd career Yusho.
No, everybody participated in this tournament, except for those who were injured, of course. But everybody participated, but it doesn't change their rankings. And I think that was a major factor because like the wrestlers, their salary depends on their ranking, so that's why they're giving every single last shred of effort they can when it comes to the big 6 tournaments a year in Japan. But this, just like in between several other tournaments a year, it's a tour. You know, it's a demonstration, and it's not like they weren't trying to win, but there's a difference between am I wrestling for my honor and livelihood, or am I wrestling for the tour, the entertainment of it, you know? So yeah, I definitely think that's something that it was unfortunate to see a lot of the discussion on this being a little bit heated online, I think. But yeah, with that out of the way though, that was the only thing about this tournament, in my opinion, that I had any negative feelings about. It was just like kind of wanted everybody to just get it. You know, we're having fun, we're trying hard, but we're not trying 100% to kill each other every single match, right? But the rest of it seemed pretty cool. So, can you give us an overview of like what was the format of the tournament and what kind of stuff did you get to see?
Well, yeah, it was incredibly cool, and I'll explain why. So it was a 5-day tournament. So it basically worked like any regular tournament, just the last 5 days. So everyone has about every day, and then at the end there were 2 people, 4-0 at the end of the last day, and they fought for the title. So the Torikume for the first day, and then it was the next day matchups would be released after the end of the day, and it was every night was about 2.5 hours, a bit more. So it was a faster pace than a normal Honbasho. So all the ceremonies were definitely part of the experience, but a bit faster than what we're used to. But a few things made it, I think, very special for the people who attended. First of all, it was, as you can see behind me, at the Royal Albert Hall, which is the same venue that hosted Sumo in 1991, last time that they came to London. It's a historical venue. It's fantastic. It's very, it can works very well with this kind of solemn tone of some of the rituals. And the lighting is, the doyo was at the center, and all the stands and the stalls are very vertical. So even if you were in the kind of the cheaper seats, you could have a very, very good view. And it's all only the doyo was light up, sort of, which is so if you see a video or a picture, you immediately recognize that it's not just a tournament from the Kokugikan or another one of the venues.
It
So
looks
the
more
atmosphere,
prestigious, more there's more gravitas to it, I think, because it's such a historic venue as opposed to the Kokugikan. As much history as it has there, it is a sporting venue. It is,
yeah.
with stands and all that. And this is everything I heard, or everything that I read about this made effort to talk about, like, the Royal Albert Hall. This is like the place. This is like the historical highest class place that you could host something like this. And yeah, that was such a cool place to have this. And based
And
on all the pictures, it's the perfect size for it too.
yeah, it's fantastic. And despite all the discussion about it's not really real, but I had to say, I and probably a lot of other sumo fans, me, when they sat down and I heard the pieces of wood cracking and the yobidashi saying London Basho, and then calling all the names, and I'm like, oh, and it's there in front of you. It's so strange. And then at the end, as you can see behind me, they all came together, and they made a bow to the public in all the four direction of the doya, and it was very emotional. One of the things that I thought would be like, okay, there would be some, quite a bit of sumo fans, um, and maybe a lot of sumo fans who were new to the sport, or relatively new, like, with all the new communities that grew online in the last few years. And then there would be a lot of corporate seats and people who come and, just to have an idea. It surprised me to see so many sumo fans, and the first moment I knew was like, I saw many people in sumo gear with the towels, and they were shouting when they did the first Toyohiri. The moment Ura came in, it was like a
Of course.
massive cheer of like, okay, so people know, there are quite a lot of sumo fans here. And there were a lot of Japanese expats too. They were quite surprised, I think, to see the kind of reception. And it sounded like what we hear or see in Japan with the when the dedication about to get the center of the dojo for the Sashi Ai Sangha was so Takayasu, some
Yeah, I heard a lot of
excited.
that.
So it was really fun, and yeah, I think that it worked perfectly as a showcase, even though, of course, for people at home, it might have been not so enjoyable, but seeing people around me reacting to Ura and Tobizaru's tricks and the Tsuridashis, and there were a lot of cheers and surprises, and so in that sense, it works great. And for my job, I interviewed a lot of fans, and that, I think, what made it special. And all these fans perfectly, they knew that it's not just being in Japan, but as you know, not everybody can go to Japan for a few days, like you
Mhm.
can go in London or in Europe, and watch 1 day or 2 days of a tournament and then go back. It's a big deal. It's a big holiday. It's expensive, etc. So I I met friends that I've been chatting about sumo on Discord or Telegram that maybe I would never have met, really, because we were not going to go to Japan together, and we were not going to meet on purpose somewhere else in Europe just because we are sumo friends. And it was great. People went outside and having dinner, and people who just started following the sport maybe 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and it's the first time that they watch it live. So the atmosphere was so positive, so much enthusiasm, so much emotion, really. And then the other part that really fueled it was that the access to Rikishi was incredible, because there were you would have seen all the pictures. They were out and about in London, in shops and tourist places, and the fans just a bit in the know knew that the hotel where they were staying were just 10 minutes down the road. So you just hover there and you would meet everyone. I was actually went for a beer with other sumo fans after the last day when I finished working with everything. And it was, I don't know, 9 p.m. and we went like, oh, that's Tamawashi. So I went and take a picture of him. And I told him, oh, I spoke about your Nodawa on the BBC, and he was like, "Oh, very nice." But I mean, just a lot of people could meet them and chat with them, take pictures, have their autographs. Lots of people every day. So there's the Raihabad Hall is this big, round venue. Every night before and after, there were hundreds of people just gathered outside, waiting for them to come out or to go in, and they were stopping and chatting. And then some were quite serious at going in, and some were, Tobizaro is like a consummate showman. So, for example, he didn't take the bus one of the nights. Someone borrowed him, lent him a bike renting card, and he hopped on a bike and made a thing. So and for sumo fans, this was like incredible. Even for Japanese expats or people who are used to see Basho in Japan, because you don't really get to talk to them much or seeing them, even just seeing them just out and about. It was funny. I see, I don't know, Hiradoumi and Gonoyama going for ramen. A couple of hours, they go quite hard against each other in the dohyo. So I guess it must have felt strange for them being on that kind of holiday. I know that they do the tour together for the Jungyo, but it must have been a bit strange
Sure.
for them too.
Somewhere outside the country where they're all in the
Yeah.
same area like that must have been very, very strange. Yeah, I think that's one thing that I've heard stories in the past of, like the Ryugoku neighborhood where the Kokugikan is. A lot of the stables, not all of the stables, but a lot of the professional sumotori live in that neighborhood. So like if you also were to live there, you would see them going for groceries or like riding their bikes or whatever here and there. But yeah, especially in a foreign country, having them all in the same neighborhood like that, and I I'm glad you brought up the Tobizaru story, because that was when you texted us about that one in our Discord, how he missed the bus, which is just feels like such a Tobizaru kind of thing to do. And then he just took a bike
Yeah,
to
so
the venue.
I was just there, but I couldn't. I was a bit behind, so I couldn't really take my phone out in time to take a video myself. But I don't know if I missed the bus on purpose, if he just decided not to
Sure.
not to take the bus.
I could totally
So-
believe Tobizaru did it. It's like, all right, and I'm going to get this bike for somebody. I'm going to put on a show for the people. I could buy
Yeah.
that. I could go
That's
either
believable.
way.
It was funny to see the different personalities. Abe was being funny most of the time, and actually I got to join the BBC interview with Hakaku and Yokozuna the day before the tournament, because I think the two Yokozuna did a lot of media appearances and other events, all the two of them together. So they were together all the time, basically. I don't know what they're talking about when they're just the two of them, but they seem to get along quite well. And this is just my superficial impression, but Hoshoryu seemed to, very relaxed, very try to joke, very funny, using some English words. Onosato looked a bit more serious in that context. It might be the other way around in real life. I don't know, but that's the impression I had.
That's funny. That's the opposite of how I would guess based on how they behave in the ring. But I know that Hoshoryu in particular, I've
Yeah.
heard he is a lot less intense when it's not during a sumo match. But no, that's funny. I also saw a lot of good pictures of Takayasu. He was the bank that was the main sponsor, if I recall. He went and visited there, and there's all these pictures of him like in his traditional Japanese attire, pretending to work at the bank to do like funny pictures and whatnot. It just seemed like a very relaxed, fun atmosphere for the whole trip in general. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind, tell us how you snuck your way into being the BBC's sumo contact here. You were telling us that before we started recording. I wanna share that story for sure.
Yeah, basically, I work for the BBC. I work in the BBC newsroom. So news, not sport. And then when it was announced last year in December. I wasn't invited to the press conference because I'm not a sport reporter. But the first thing I thought was like, okay, the sumo is in London. I've got to get involved with the reporting because. Would there be other sumo fans at the BBC? Maybe, but it's not that likely. So I got involved, and I had the person writing the article and ended up co-writing the article just to, add the classic correction and talk about sumo in the right way. The fact that you don't need to add their first name after the shikona because it's not that's not their surname. It's just their first name, but just they use stuff like that.
Sure, little details that somebody
Little
might
details.
not notice if they hadn't been following sumo as a fan, right?
Or things like because the winner of the tournament will become the grand champion. No, that's usually used for the Yokozuna title. The winner of the London tournament will just win the London tournament.
Be the person that won the London tournament.
Yes,
In a
it's not as snappy of a title though.
Yeah.
And then obviously that was a long time ago, and then a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago, so 2 weeks before the tournament, I was asked to write an explainer for the BBC, and then the news came out that the BBC was going to broadcast it in the UK. Basically, that meant that there would be a stream in the BBC app and site that has a text live stream. So
Sure.
the video was the video that everybody saw with Hiro Morita doing all the TV commentary, but myself and a colleague and then more people just worked on the graphics and saying, "Oh, next matches," and I will add a few comments, which was, if you asked me last month, you write about Tamawashi's Nodowa. It was fun. I ended up basically just by chance, and said, "Okay, are we gonna do this? I can do it." Basically, I offered myself. I did it outside my actual work. It was appreciated, and I have to say, it was a massive success. I'm not talking about in the BBC stuff, but on social media, you'll see you would have seen a lot of pictures, and everybody knew that. Even people who didn't actually follow the tournament or who won or whatever, don't know anything, but everybody knew that Rikishi were around, and the mayor of London tweeted, and did a lot of social media posts, and politicians and famous people were there, and but not just the pop aspect, but stuff that maybe they were kind of the more exhibition-y part of the tournament that really did the crazy, insane Aonishiki win against Ura. That I was very close to the door and was like stunned by that. Or Takayasu Suppari, I don't know if you saw the video. He did one of his textbook Supari against Mitake and that was a massive. So in terms of social media reach, at least here in the UK, it was massive. So the reach of the sport is had a huge boost. So I don't know if then it means that thousands of people played Gessler Bansuke, or they will be there in what is 7 a.m. UK time in the 9th of November to watch Kyushu. But it definitely, I had friends with whom I never spoken about sumo before, who, they were like, "Oh, what about Ura? So why is it so popular? Well, why is it Tobizarro? What does he do that? And why is Ura so why everybody loves him, but why is he not the champion? Why is he not winning?" But so people are slowly getting
Sure.
into the vibe, and it was fun. It wasn't like just a weird thing or Japanese massive men who just go at each other. It became more real.
Sure.
So that was fantastic.
Yeah, I think well, I guess first off, Aonishiki versus Ura, that's one that I saw making the rounds a lot. That was a very fun match. Um that was one where Aonishiki won by a hand pull down, and Ura, when he saw that he was going to lose, kind of did an Ura thing and just kind of did a flip for no reason. So there were fun little moments like that where it was like, okay, these guys are having fun too, and like we mentioned at the top, like yeah, they're not wrestling life or death in mind, but they're certainly trying to win still. Would you say that was your favorite match, or were there any other matches that stood out to you?
Well, there were quite a few moments of like proper sumo. Well, the ones that came out, they were the most. They remember the most spectacular ones. A lot of Ura and Tobizarro ones. Onishiki was really good. I have to say though, there was a lot of emphasis on sumo and the rituals around it. There was a ring blessing ceremony um, before the tournament. I attended it and I took videos for the TV actually, which is a bit of a bizarre experience because it was me and a few other journalists and the ambassador and other people. And I'm a sumo fan, but I don't watch the ring blessing ceremony every tournament,
Sure.
so I didn't really go. So it felt very solemn, very ominous, almost like in this venue and the lights on them. And then every night started with Hiro Morita explaining all the basics of sumo and the dohyo and Shiko, etc. And then the night will start with the dohyo hiri. No, actually, before the dohyo hiri, there would be a rope tying ceremony with one of the yokozunas,
Cool.
and then some drumming demonstration, and then the two yokozuna doing the dohyo hiri, yokozuna dohyo hiri, and you can't see it here, but above the kind of this canopy above the dohyo that we usually have, there was also a circle screen, which you don't have it in Japan,
Right.
and they were showing replays there, but also things like Hiro Morita will prompt the people before the Yokozuna Doyo Hiri to shout Yoisho when the Yokozuna would stamp. So they will appear saying with the words Yoisho. So
Sure.
everybody, um, and so it was quite silence during the rituals, and so there was that aspect was quite well represented. I think they wanted to do that. They wanted to convey that it's not just a sport, and so they put a lot of emphasis on that. And I think that the first half there was 10 bouts, and then a 25 minutes break because it's a theater and people went to the bar, etc. So not 5-10 minutes like in Japan. And then the second half had sponsored bouts. So my personal impression of the second half was a bit better in general, um, with more hard fought matches and a bit more pathos. So it was more fun to follow. Um,
Sure.
the highlight of the first match was as usual the Koto Heiho's Shiko. I think he
Aha.
won one match or zero, I don't remember, but he definitely impressed everyone with his Shiko. And Hiro Morita was going to tell everyone. Another fun thing that maybe you don't know, because they didn't broadcast the audio of Hiro Morita's commentary in the arena, but people could buy a little ear thing specifically for this, so you could put in your ear, and after the intro, then it'll be the usual sounds of silence in the arena, but people hear uh, Hiro and doing the commentary.
That's really
And
cool. That would be a really good way to catch up quickly on what's going on.
yeah,
I got a couple questions real quick.
yeah.
So you had mentioned that like obviously this was huge for all of the local London sumo fans being able to come and see them fight for 5 consecutive days. But what was the impact that you've seen for the people who this was their introduction to sumo? What kind of stories are you hearing from the people who never seen sumo before?
I think it was a great introduction. I think because you get a bit. I know the purist sumo fans would say, well, no, you gotta see the real thing. The but this was you got all the in the end the Yokozuna going for the title, no Henkas, no Kyujos, um, um, and you see the more spectacular stuff like the Tsuridashi and fun Kimarite. So people were hooked by that, and I think we're interested. And I think a lot of people who were maybe saw it before would be happy to follow it again. I'd hope so. It's difficult to judge. I mean, the the enthusiasm of those days would, might prompt you to say, "Oh my God, there will be thousands more fans that definitely in 3 weeks' time will follow it." I don't know, but definitely it put it more on the radar. It turned, I think, sumo from this kind of weird interesting thing that is like because it's iconic. Everybody knows what sumo is, right? But not knowing much about it or thinking it's a bit, not very interesting to watch. And even the thing, it's as we know, it's very easy to get into because the matches are a few seconds long, and then when you get into all the rules that are behind and the banzuke and the rankings, etc., then it gets more and more interesting. I think a lot of people will get into it. Um, I don't know if it's going to be, a massive increase in reach. I guess we'll see, and we'll see what the response to Paris next year will be. Um, I don't know if they're going to do this more and more often. I don't think they're going to come back to London, very soon.
They got to come to Iowa first before they get
Yeah.
back to London
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Well, I interviewed at least two groups of people who came from the US.
Hmm.
It was also interesting to hear about how people got into sumo. It's some people had a similar pathway to mine. So maybe they went to Japan and so on, and then started to watch the highlight, and then wants to be more. So they started to find your podcast and your show and the Touchy Eye blog, and then all of a sudden, then they found the Discord place, and then they're doing fantasy leagues, etc. So it's they went to the rabbit hole. I don't know where. I was trying to test people or how far into the rabbit hole where are you doing Discord, Fantasy League, card collectors? Where are you in the thing? And it was fun. So I think the response that I saw was great. I think Paris is only 2 days, so it might be different because it's so compact. It's just and it's also it doesn't feel as due, I guess. But I think it's still going to be great for all the French sumo fans and people from Europe. But this felt really memorable for a lot of sumo fans and new people who got into the sport.
I got
That's awesome.
one other thing regarding locals. I did see some pictures on Instagram of local amateur wrestlers also coming out to see the professionals and get involved. I recognized at least a few people that I see at the World Championships or in like the British sumo different clubs, different tournaments, whatever. And if I shoot, I should have had this better prepared. I think it was Ichi Yamamoto went to train with some of the local wrestlers. Does that sound right? Do you know that
I
one?
think Onishiki went was guest in a local
Okay.
uh, youth sumo competition as a guest of honor. But again, I got into the reporting of it for the BBC quite late, so I wasn't really aware about all these previous
Sure.
other events that were going on. But I think yeah, Onishiki. But they tried to get involved with stuff. I saw them, going to different. Uh, I think Mitake Umi visited Filipino restaurant, and that wasn't planned. I think they did a bit of kind of all appearances that they had planned with the sponsors and media, but also they did their own thing, and I think it was quite fun to see.
So you mentioned like Ura, Tobizaru, some Takayasu, um, kind of the people that were generating a lot of attention on and off the dohyo. Were there other any Rikshi that kind of made a big splash with their presence in the city?
In the city, let me think. Well, the ones that got big cheers are the ones you can imagine. And also, the one you mentioned, Onishiki, Shishi a bit, um, Tobizaru, of course. Um, but I was surprised to see it's so surreal also for me as a fan. I think you might relate to that, or the listeners might relate to that. You know, I might start to talk about, oh, I follow sumo. I'm a sumo fan with anyone, and after, at a pub, they're like, yeah, really, what?
Yeah.
And being all of a sudden surrounded by thousands of people who are also sumo fans, and then next to you is like, oh, I love Roga. I'm like, what? Oh yeah, because I follow the cooking on YouTube, and Ichi Yamamoto and a lot of people with their towels. So I think Ichi Yamamoto is also a fan favorite. Um, I don't know about the splash in London. In terms of the most viral clip outside the building, definitely Toby Zara with missing the bus and being picked up by a local like a amateur sumo wrestlers just outside the building. He was the funniest. I have to say also Abby was quite funny when he came out one of the last days, or the last day, was just out and shouted, "My name is Abby," to the cheer with the crowd. Shodai was really funny. It was like a lot of them were surprising. Shodai was like I was expecting, like really chill, very master of chaos. It was yeah, fine.
For
Um,
what it's worth, I did find that picture. It looks like, yes, Ichi Yamamoto visited London Sumo Club.
oh yeah,
London, obviously they were the home club, but they also have, I see guys from all over the place, including Scott Findlay from all the way up in Scotland came down for that. I'm sure he was there at a bunch of the tournament events. Yeah, very cool though.
yeah,
I'm glad that they you also mentioned earlier about how people getting exposed to sumo, and it's everybody knows in general what sumo is, but until you see it for yourself, especially if you can see it live, that kind of like opens up people's eyes. They kind of understand better that, oh wait, it can also be fun. It's not just like a somber exotic untouchable something you're looking at like it's in a museum. It's also fun and you can get involved, and the people who do sumo are also real people. And I'm glad that there was extra fan engagement for people to kind of get to know the wrestlers themselves, as well as just have some fun and hang out. So I guess before we wrap up, I did want to go through some results, just
yeah.
as we mentioned, this doesn't affect anyone's rankings. This doesn't this doesn't necessarily apply in the same way that the main 6 Bashos of the year in Japan apply, but it was still fun. They did still keep track. Our champion, as we mentioned briefly before, Hoshoryu was the winner. He went 5-0. He and Onosato were both 4-0 on the final day when they faced off. And yeah, Hoshoryu seemed to get the better of him pretty quick on that one. Yeah, Onosato did not have much of a fight for him. But one match I did want to bring up. This was probably my favorite of the ones that I did catch. Tobizaru was in it until the very last day. He was also 4-0. It was just him and the 2 Yokozuna that were undefeated. And Tobizaru, if he could beat Takayasu, that means that he would force a playoff. And I don't think those guys were holding back in that match. I think that one was pretty intense. Do you remember that one, Thomas?
Yeah, I remember it was fun, and I think there was you know, there was a lot of attention on Tobizaru, and Hiro was calling him the flying monkey all the time, and everybody, a lot of non-sumo fans were like, "Oh, flying monkey is gonna do it!" And so I thought, oh, they might the day before I thought, oh, they might giving Takayasu or Onishiki, so it's gonna be difficult because I think in '91 Akaku won. And both Yokozuna arrived last day 4-0, and then Hakaku won the Yokozuna bows, and then had to beat someone else in a playoff. I think that's what happened. So I thought maybe this is going to be the same, but no. So we got Takayasu beat Tobizaru, so they both ended up in 4-1. So another second place for Takayasu, sadly for us fans.
As usual, yep.
He did great. So, like he did a lot of good his good array of techniques. So we got to the last bout with only the 2 Yokozunas 4-0, and they went for it. It was fun. Hoshoryu won. It was an okay match. It was a good match. Hoshoryu won, and then they wrap up with Onosato's speech in English, which you can catch up in more or less 3.5 seconds. I don't remember by heart, but it's like, London is great. Thank you. See you soon. Goodbye.
Very classic sumo wrestler speech right there.
Yeah. And then Hoshoryu won the title, and then won also some like a massive Hello Kitty, a massive soy sauce bottle, and I think Takayasu won the standing performance, and I think I might be a bit confused here, but Onishiki won the other technique prize. Might get confused, but and then there was an audience award. People could vote from with a QR code, and I thought, well, a lot of talk about things being scripted. That one is definitely not scripted, but Ura's gonna win it. So everybody knew that Ura's was gonna win it.
To that point, real quick, we were talking about the Paris tournament or the Paris event that's coming up in 2026. So I went to look that up online. On the poster that they had, it's of course Hoshoryu, Onosato, Koto Sakura, and then Ura. So you got your top 3 ranked guys, and then Ura's in there.
Ura. Yep. Real quick, what time of year is that one happening?
June. I think it said June 13th and 14th. I just closed the tab.
That's fine.
If I'm wrong, I will correct myself in a moment.
Yep. Some other notable final totals here. Yeah, Hoshoryu was the only one at 5-0, but at 4-1 you have, let's see, Onosato, Takayasu, Tobizaru, Aonishiki, Wakamoto Haru, Sadanoumi, Mitakeumi, and Shishi. So yeah, certainly would be a lot of Junyu shows if we were awarding those. But yeah, they just like a normal tournament, best record at the end was the winner, and then you had the special prizes there. I caught a screenshot of Ura when he was given his audience award, and he's just being typical Ura, just being so excited. And
yeah, it was quite a moment because even Hiro Morita, when presented it, it was like, and the audience awards goes to, guess what? And all the public was like, Ura! ah. So it was even presented like that. So there was no surprise whatsoever. So that was fun. I caught Hiro Morita was really it was really nice and fun, but it was really busy, so it was very difficult. It was more difficult to catch him than was to catch the Yokozuna even. I caught him at the end of the last day. I thought, can I make? I asked him if I could make a joke about his catchphrases, and he was cool with it. So, and I think he went even in this short time. I don't know if on purpose or not. He went full on. It was like from the start match. Oh, run out of real estate. This should be a dandy and all that. It was like one after the other. Blah, 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 blah. So, that was fun as well.
We should make a bingo card for Hiro Morita commentary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is one.
Yeah, I'm not the first to
I
think
think
of that.
The person who came up with the bingo card and put it on Sumo memes on Reddit called Hiro Morita at the venue in London, showed him the bingo card. So he's Hiro's fully aware of this, but he's not holding back. So he's you know, and I think
That's funny.
he's really a perfect person for some people. Maybe once they get to know sumo better and they appreciate, they don't care that much about all the intro stuff and the explanation. They want to be more technical commentary. But personally, if I had to think about someone to present an event like that, where there'd be a lot of new people, especially watching at home, he's the perfect person to. And he was absolutely loving it. If there's one person who was loved it more than I did, definitely him, because it wasn't just in the commentary box. It was presenting near the dojo. It was saying, "London, are you ready for sumo?" And so it was like, that's if I thought he was loving it, and was doing his Chico stamp in front of the dojo. It was great.
Yeah, nobody has ever accused Hiro of not being enthusiastic. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Thanks so much for filling us in. It's been lovely hearing the updates as the tournament was progressing from you in our Discord. But yeah, keep an eye out for Paris next summer. But there are also highlight videos of this Basho on the Royal Albert Hall YouTube channel. They have assorted highlights. I'm sure there's plenty elsewhere as well, but that was just the one that I caught that had a bunch of good matches in it. But yeah, this was just such a cool, unique experience. I'm glad that you got to see it in person. And yeah, thanks again for filling us in.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, thanks so much,
It's
Thomas.
an honor.
So thank you again to Thomas, and this has been our October news breakdown. Keep an eye out for the Kyushu Basho starting on November 9th, running through the 23rd.
Yep, keep an eye out. Might slip past you. You might miss it.
Might miss it. Who knows? I don't know. If you have a baby in the next week or two, who knows if you'll have any idea what day it is anymore.
All right. Thanks for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Throw your salt high and keep moving forward.